Hello there, Faud. Okay, so let's have a look at your work. It looks like a big improvement, and I love it when students put in work into their error list. That's fantastic. So, the increasing number of newly invented items has become available on the market. So, he would have to say an increasing number. Okay, number would be singular. Okay, an increasing number of newly invented items have, because items is plural, become available on the market in the last decade. Or we say the increasing number of newly invented items that have become available on the market in the last decade have dramatically changed society. Okay, so big differences. I would suggest writing out both those versions of the sentence that I offered you and look at them and just analyze them. Okay, because it's a big difference whether we use an or the. If we're saying the, then we have to say that they have done something. Okay, some people say, here's another tip. What could we use instead of people? Some experts, some sociologists, some economists. Okay, let's improve the vocabulary. So, various economists believe that patient laws significantly affect creativity. Patient or patent? Change that to patent. Affect creativity and the functionality in a society, or functionality of a society would be slightly better there. This essay will review the subject using we'll review the subject using examples of copyright influence in the developed and developing states to demonstrate points and support arguments. Good. First of all, in Western countries, is what we need a subject if we're going to have the verb. So, first of all, in Western countries, it is one of the basic laws which encourages individuals and individuals' creativity. This is largely because any intellectual property is sheltered by a patent. Check your spelling. And there's a small chance that somebody else will use it without permission. For this reason, the most innovative products have been made in Northern America, Europe, and Australia, where any kind of property is secured by law. Being protected from copyright infringement, citizens of these regions are inspired to create innovations. Okay, not bad. Like I say in the sentence guide, I would have loved to see a real-world concrete example. And what could we use an example? So we could say, for example, recent studies by Harvard showed that 97% of all patents are made in Northern America, Europe, and Australia, where any kind of property is secured by law. Okay, something like this, or where legislation is guaranteed and enforced severely, whatever. Okay, but we did need a solid example, so be careful. Stick to the structure of the sentence guide for your paragraphs, okay? On the other hand, a lack of patent legislation makes life easier in third world countries. This fact has paved the road for every entrepreneur to develop productivity and, as a result, to make goods cheaper and more accessible for the community. Okay? For instance, Apple is the company having the most cutting-edge technology nowadays, therefore its cell phones are too expensive. In China, the copyright legislation is out of work that allows... Okay, no. Out of work is when you're unemployed. So in China, the copyright legislation is not enforced, and this allows the electronic industry to use the same technology to launch much cheaper alternatives, showing skyrocket economic growth. Okay, I wouldn't have put that on, okay, because it's a bit unnecessary, to launch much cheaper alternatives, full stop. And then use the sentence guide and just put, therefore, it is clear that reduced patent legislation can undoubtedly benefit society. And we just bring it round to the question again and therefore ensure full points for task response. Okay, now let me just do a word count because I'm pretty certain this is over the word limit. Yeah, it's 282 words, Faud. Okay, so make sure your next essay is 260 maximum. If it's over that, I'm just going to send it back and say reduce it. Okay, and there's two ways you can reduce it. One, stick to the sentence guide acronym structure. That would help you significantly. Two, go for more basic arguments. And three, once you're finished, do a word count and just review it and eliminate word sentences that you might think are not entirely necessary. Okay, and words that are not entirely necessary. The consumers of poor Asian countries would not be able to possess these sort of devices in the presence of trademark protection legislation. Okay, here's another tip. We cannot say these in the first line of the paragraph. Okay, the reason is because we don't know what we're referring to. Okay, it might be clear for you, but for the reader, I don't know. So we can use this if here we'd have to say uh, these mobile devices, sorry, sort of devices, the whole thing here. We need to say mobile devices. And then we can talk about these and refer to them as these devices. Once we've got it clear that we're talking about mobile phones, okay? To conclude from the arguments and examples given, I firmly believe that although the copyright law in fact, just delete that sentence, okay? Although the copyright law stimulates creativity in the Western countries, the absence of these regulations makes life easier for the population of the developing nations. Fantastic. Good way to finish. Delete that. Very good arguments. They just needed to be more concise, maybe just explained in a more basic fashion to help you with the grammar and to help you with the cohesion and coherence. Okay, so let's carry on. The bar chart compares the proportion of diet components in three different aged male groups in the UK. So once again, Faud, you need to look at the sentence guide, okay? Because there's an academic course there which I'd like you to watch, and it says that this overall sentence should go at the end, okay? Should go at the end of your report, and that will help you with the structure, okay? So let's see, the bar chart compares the proportion of diet components in three different age male groups in the UK. Full stop, that's enough. The dairy, start with the subject, dairy is the most consumed food, no S, in the youngest males aged between 0 to 24 at more than 40%. So put that at more than 40% here, which it refers to as the most consumed food at more than 40% for the youngest males aged between 0 to 24, comma, whilst the rate of legumes intake shows the lowest figure, less than 20%. Good. Meat and vegetables are equally represented by 20%. No, there's a contradiction there. You're saying it's the lowest is 20, and then you're saying they're equally represented at 20. Okay, so we should have just grouped all of this together, and we should have said, whilst legumes, meat and vegetables are roughly represented, are equally represented by around 20% each, full stop. Okay, that would have been sufficient. So here's another skill I want to see. Well done anyway for using the superlative, but then the next skill I want to see in your academic task 1 is grouping. You did it well here with these two, but if you could have grouped all three together, that would have been fantastic. In the age group 25 to 40, a UK man uses mostly meat as a source of calories, half of his total intake, compared to lacteal goods with about a quarter. Very good. The agricultural products, as pulses and vegetables, are the least favourite meals at 10% and 15% respectively. Very good. That was a perfect paragraph. Well done. Legumes reach the highest percentage of total intake in UK males over 50 years old at approximately 65%. Furthermore, foods contain small amounts of greens. No. Furthermore, their intake consists of small amount of greens, milk and meat products at the range of between 10 and 20%. Good, well done for grouping. Now we finish with a new paragraph saying overall, and that's the summary. Overall, greens and milk products show a downward trend during an average male's life, while edibles, seeds and meat are the most popular foods in older ages. Okay, well, it's not seeds. Pulses would have just been fine there. Okay, well done there, Faud. So what I want you to do now, implement all the corrections you've heard, modify the error list, update these essays, corrected ones, have a look at the academic task 1 course, and have a look at the other videos in the sentence guide course, and then write me 2 new essays. Okay, buddy? You're doing good. Let's keep on improving.